Hey everyone, how's it going? It's your boy Skilled Fawn, and today we are going to be doing another Dark Souls challenge run. Let's waste no time and get straight into the rules. Starting off, I can only use pyromancies. Various shops, loot drops, and or quest lines will yield pyromancies. I'll talk a lot more about this later in the video. Next, I have to defeat every boss. I must beat the game. Lastly, glitches and or exploits are allowed. I'm excited to share this run with you guys. I previously have done fists only alongside other challenges on this game, so check those out if you are interested. Without further ado, let's jump into the run. We start in the Undead Asylum and head towards the Asylum Demon. I didn't do a plunging fist attack since I was curious if the base Pyromancy would be able to take him down. I was actually really close to using all the charges, but had thankfully one left after taking him down. Afterwards, we go towards Firelink Shrine. This is the central hub or safe space for the player. Next, we grab the red Tearstone ring, which will increase my damage at low health. And we also grab Power Within, a pyromancy that will increase my damage, but at the cost of my health slowly depleting. Next up is Taurus Demon, and this fight was actually quite tense because I had to make sure that I didn't get hit. The problem with this run early on is that I have limited tools at my disposal. I have two pyromancies right now, but really only one since the other is for buffing. Hopefully soon we will be able to get more powerful magic. We take Taurus Demon down and head back to Blighttown. Subsequently, we enter Chaos Witch Quaelag's fight in Blighttown. Let's go for a fireball attack, and what is this? Yep, it appears that she is pyromancy slash fire immune. So yeah, that is the run. Thanks for coming. No, but seriously, we are going to keep going, and I'll put a counter in the top right of the bosses we have taken down with pyromancy, and then the ones that we aren't able to. And this will be pretty interesting to track. With this discovery, it means that, we are not able to beat Dark Souls with only pyromancy. Let's see how far we go. Eventually, we take Quaelag down. Because we defeated Quaelag, we are able to ring the first bell. This also lets the player go to the next area, which is Demon Ruins. In between Demon Ruins and Quaelag's arena, there is a secret area where the player can upgrade their pyromancy flame and join a covenant. I want to showcase one of my favorite exploits in this game. I am playing Dark Souls, not the remastered version or Prepare to Die version, just simply Dark Souls. So a lot of the patches and bugs they fix later haven't been patched here. I could be mistaken, but I believe this is how it is. Anyways, the player needs a boss soul alongside their Estus flask. Using a heavy weapon that the player can't use, press X or square rapidly, then go to the menu to heal. Instead of healing, it will give the prompt to use the boss soul, and now we basically have unlimited souls, which is pretty nice. We're mainly just going to use them for upgrading and, buying the pyromancies, because I really don't want to grind for that. It's not really, fun for me, and it's not really fun watching for you guys, I'm sure. I simply just, want to level my flame and, summon Quaelana. Back in Blighttown, we find Quaelana and talk to her. Because we upgraded our flame to plus 10, we summoned her. Here we can get more pyromancies and upgrade our flame to plus 15 if we wanted. Next, we head into Ceaseless Discharges fight. This is a pretty simple fight. Basically run from one side, grab an item, then run back to the start. Once he slams his fist down, it's basically a free kill. And wait, what's this? Another boss that is immune to pyromancy? You gotta love it. But it does make sense since we are in a fire zone that most bosses would be resistant or immune. Make those two bosses now that we haven't been able to kill with pyromancy. We eventually smack him down and head over to the next area. I figured the best thing would be to ring the next and last bell. So we head towards the bell gargoyles. With the upgraded flame and having better pyromancies, we deal massive damage to them. We get the second one to spawn using only 2 casts, which is absolutely crazy. After some time, we take them out and ring the second bell. Now we have access to Sen's Fortress. Instead of heading into Sen's Fortress, I want to kill the remaining bosses that are close by. These include Moonlight Butterfly, Sif, then the Stray and Capra demons. With Moonlight Butterfly, it's about waiting for it to fly down and land on the bridge. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I believe in my bow run I was able to get some hits while it was flying. Maybe the few casts I used just missed. I'm not too sure, but eventually Combustion did the trick once it, landed. With Moonlight Butterfly down, let's go towards Sif. I was having some trouble at first since my damage was very low, where I wasn't sure if I actually had enough casts to take it down. Because of this hiccup, I needed to use RTS to get better damage. Unfortunately, this means that I have to not get hit for a bit. I eventually got the run where I used RTS till about maybe a third to half health down, then healed to full, as I would have enough damage to defeat him. The toughest thing about this fight is the jankiness of some of his hitboxes slash his attacks. I would be like right next to him and not get damage, which, was not the best feeling. With Sif down, we get the Abyss Ring, which will allow me to fight the 4 kings, but that's, not for a bit. Next up, we are going to fight the Stray and Capra demons. I had to go back to Undead Asylum and fight the Stray demon. For Capra, he is located at the bottom of the main castle. These fights were challenging in different ways, but to briefly explain, I needed to use RTS for the whole Stray demon fight, just because he's so tanky. For Capra, those dogs can be the end of you. With time and patience, we take them both down. Afterwards, we head into Gaping Dragon's Arena. We were able to get here because we took down Capra Demon, which yielded the key to access this area. Fortunately, I ran through this area pretty quickly and didn't take the mage down near those large rats at the top. I actually never knew that the mage could fire down on the player from up there, as they're fighting the boss. And this was definitely not going to help and made the fight a lot trickier. I basically had to dodge 2 enemies at once, which was hard to balance at times. With no heals left and near death, we take down Gaping Dragon. And after all that, we finally head into Sen's Fortress. It only took this long because I wanted to make sure that I defeated all the bosses previously. Here we find a boss at the top of the fortress and make quick work of him. There's nothing to note other than me dying a few times previously with RTS because I got too cocky with casting pyromancies. With Iron Golem down, we are able to head into an Orlando, my favorite place in Dark Souls. We enter an Orlando and progress through the level. There are many bosses in this area, and so I figured I would take down the ones that would take the longest. We head into the Painted World of Aramis. Here we find a cool pyromancy, and we find a boss located at the very end of the painting. Priscilla can go invisible, but if enough damage is dealt, she will get knocked out of it. It didn't help that she was extremely weak to the pyromancies, and so sooner or later we take her down and head back to an Orlando. Back in an Orlando, we face one of the hardest bosses in the game, which is ONS. This is mainly because it is a duo fight, and they usually attack after the other. Fortunately, we have a highly upgraded flame and many different pyromancies, so damage isn't the issue. I'm going to have to focus on Ornstein because I prefer Super Smo in Phase 2, but that's personal preference. In Phase 2, Smo gains Ornstein's lightning and infuses it into his own attacks. His attacks before were highly damaging, now we are getting near 2-shot to possibly instant death territory. It helps that during the fight, the player can hear one of the best soundtracks in the game. Just listening to the song gives the player plus 10 get good skill points. With time and patience, we take down ONS. We talk to Guinevere and acquire the Lord Vessel, which will allow us to teleport to other bonfires. We also happen to throw a massive fireball in her direction. I guess I must have misclicked that accidentally. But this will allow us to enter Gwendolyn's fight. Near the bottom of an Orlando, we find Dark Sun Gwendolyn, one of my favorite bosses in DS1. Even though he may not be the toughest, I really find it fascinating when bosses talk to the player and give information on the state of the world, who they are, etc. This is why the Consumed King is one of my favorite bosses in DS3. We quickly dispatch of him and get some nice souls. We talk to the Pyromancer that we saved earlier in the level. Here we can get more pyromancies that are not available anywhere else, but at this point we have most of them at our disposal. With the Norlando pretty much conquered, let's head towards Bed of Chaos and into Demon Fire Sage. At first I wasn't sure if this would actually damage him since he is a flaming demon. I mean, why would fire hurt him? Well, actually it does, and with ease we take him out. The next boss on our way is Centipede Demon. And what's this? A boss that walks in a lava arena is flame immune? Who would have thought? I guess it's just surprising that Demon Fire Sage wasn't immune, but it really doesn't matter, I guess. But since this is another boss that we can't use pyromancies, I will have to use my lowly upgraded axe instead. Afterwards, we head into Bed of Chaos, which has to be one of, if not my least favorite Soulsborne bosses. I've heard a lot of people talk about how Dragon God is the worst in Demon Souls, but I would have to disagree. Bed of Chaos is a lot more janky. Many holes / pits open up during the fight, which lead to death more often, and the player has to avoid 4 things at once. If you are unfamiliar with DS1, Bed of Chaos starts with 2 hands, and as the player destroys the glowing tendrils, it will gain these flame-like wings and strike at the player. At least Dragon God, it's just a fist and flame breath from time to time. I also just dislike the fact that the player has to jump to finish off the boss. Anyways, you get the point. This is another boss too that we are unable to kill with just pyromancies. For whatever reason, we could destroy the tendrils with the pyromancy, but we couldn't kill the actual boss. So yeah, I guess it's either like half a point or no points, depending on how you look at it. Luckily, this boss has no health, so with a back fist, we take it down. With our first Lord Soul acquired, we hunt down the next Lord, who will soon suffer the same fate. Thankfully, Seath isn't immune to pyromancies, so we are able to get some great damage against him. It's nice too that I am able to switch things with melee and range with various fireballs and combustion casts. With time and patience, we take him down, so let's head into Nito's fight. Entering the catacomb, we sprint through until we reach Pinwheel. Nothing to note besides it having really low health, so with a few casts we take it out. With Nito, I was a bit nervous since he has a bunch of skeleton bros that follow him around. If I'm able to, in my runs, I will infuse whatever weapon I'm using with a divine reinforcement so that it permanently kills the skeletons. Instead, I will have to deal with their death and resurrection cycle. My damage isn't too bad on Nito, but this will still be a somewhat long fight. After getting smacked around by the skeletons for a while, we deal enough damage to take Nito out. Now onto New Londo. In New Londo, we find an enemy invader, and I was actually really surprised because I don't think I've been invaded in DS1 since, gosh, when I picked up the game years ago. He was actually friendly and dropped an item. I didn't want to grab it in case it was going to give me an advantage or possibly just break my game or something. So, Elite 5745, I do appreciate you though, and good luck on your adventure, soldier. At this point, we jump into Four Kings Arena, which is accessible after grabbing the ring from Sif. I wasn't sure if I was going to have the damage to take them down or if I needed to use the RTS. It does seem like the damage will be okay, so I pressed on. At first, it wasn't bad because there was just one king, but eventually I had all 4 spawned in at once, which was extremely hard to handle. With blood, sweat, and tears, we take them down. With all the Lord Souls acquired, I figured it would be a good and fun idea to collect all the pyromancies. This way I'll get an achievement. Later on, this will make my job slightly easier for when I try and get all the achievements in DS1. We talk to the various pyromancers and offer a boatload of humanities to this covenant. At rank 1/initiation, we are granted a pyromancy, and then once 30 are offered, we gain another. Also near her is this NPC that when infected with the egghead, will sell additional pyromancies. On our way to speak with Quaylana, we finish her quest line, which yields us another pyromancy. And lastly, we head to various locations where these can be picked up and looted off of chests or corpses. With this, we get all the pyromancies and get the achievement. This was fairly time consuming, but well worth it. Entering the final boss, we equip Combustion and parry him into submission. It helps that I'm using super beefy armor alongside 2 fire resistant rings. Eventually, we take him down, and yeah, this is Dark Souls Pyromancy Only. Even though we weren't actually able to do only Pyromancy, it was a fun run, and it was interesting to learn which bosses couldn't be killed by it. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe if you like this type of content. Try and do something kind for someone today. And this is your boy Skilled Fawn, and I'm out.